Hey everybody, it's Chainsaw Reacts. Welcome to a new series on the channel, if you will, where I'm going to be going through all of Metallica's discography, of course, starting off here with the first album, Kill 'Em All, and then, of course, next week, Ride the Lightning, every Monday, that's the plan at least, and getting through all the Metallica albums, because I did this back when 72 Seasons came out, ranked all the songs in a tier list format like this. So we're starting off with here, Kill 'Em All, and the plan is every Monday releasing the next discography video and everything and ranking all the songs, and that so Ride the Lightning is, of course, next week, and here we are with Kill 'Em All, 10 tracks. Now, there's images I recognize here that this person made here, because I recognize the Jump in the Fire image, the Whiplash image, but the rest I'm not really sure if they're fan-made, I'm not really sure where they came from, but regardless, we're going to go through, of course, in the order on the album in terms of the songs and everything, and the main criteria is the actual song itself. Not so much live performances, which could be a factor, but there's certain songs as we get further into this series, going through the order of all the albums and everything, certain songs have never been performed live, so it's kind of hard to really factor that in. So without further ado, let's dive in and let's rank all the songs from Kill 'Em All. Starting off, of course, with Hit the Lights. And honestly, S tier. The more I thought about it, because I was getting ready for this video, Hit the Lights to me is just fantastic. Now, obviously, as we go through this whole series, well, then you're ranking all these songs S tier, that means they're the best songs ever. Possibly, that's even a bigger discussion in terms of looking at all the discography. I'm talking about this album specifically here, and then we'll just go further along as we get through the rest of the albums. But to me, Hit the Lights is just a perfect opener. It's a classic, of course, Metallica track. It's really well put together, and it's just fantastic. Of course, a lot of great live performances and everything, but Hit the Lights is a great opener for sure. Now, the Four Horsemen, the follow-up from Hit the Lights, pretty awesome, but honestly, I'm going with A. And I'll tell you why. I love the structure of it. The middle section, as we know, infamously and everything, in terms of like the Sweet Home Alabama riff or whatever it is, it's interesting, and I like the slow down pace of it, but I wish there was a little bit more going on at certain points. Like, I love the riffs in the song. I don't know, I just wish there was something more to it at times. Like, it's great as it is, but I don't love it like Hit the Lights. It's a fantastic track. When they played it live in 2009, when I was at the first ever Metallica show that I've been to, I was freaking out, because I couldn't believe they were playing it, because it was kind of a rarity around that time. But yeah, so Hit the Lights, Four Horsemen, good follow-up, but to me, it didn't hit the Lights in terms of that. Now, here's the interesting thing here. Motor Breath. I like the song, but we're going B. We're going B for Motor Breath. It's not a bad track. I think if I put a song in C or lower, then obviously I'm not the biggest fan of it. I like Motor Breath. I've heard it live. It's decent, but I feel like it's just too basic. There's not enough going on in it. I like the drumming kind of opening, but there's not really much that I'm really remembering from it besides the opening drum part from Lars. There isn't really anything too memorable, in my opinion, from Motor Breath. It's a decent track, but not the biggest fan of it. Jump in the Fire. Now, Jump in the Fire is great. I love the opening riff, some great solo work, and I love the structure of it and just how they put it together. Obviously, we can have discussion all day in terms of Dave Mustaine, the writing credits and what exactly he wrote, because he wrote quite a bit of stuff on this record when you look at the actual the history of it and everything, and what's been discussed there in terms of what Metallica's discussed, what Dave Mustaine has discussed in terms of who wrote what for this record. But in terms of what's been put out from this record, that's really only we're really focusing on is the actual songs itself, not so much the writing credits of it. Jump in the Fire is a great track, and I wish they would actually recognize and play this song more. I really, really enjoy it. And I was considering S tier, but I'm leaving it at A. But Jump in the Fire is really good. Really, really good. Anesthesia Pointing Teeth. I don't want to be biased here, even though obviously it's my list. But I want to stick with A, because trust me, to me, it is Cliff's moment. Obviously, Call of Cthulhu, Orion, Till This Today, of course, is the tribute. But he has his moments, for sure, on those instrumentals coming up, Call of Cthulhu and Orion. Anesthesia Pointing Teeth is phenomenal. It's a fantastic bass solo, and the second half of Lars kicking in really just amped it up. I wonder how it would have been received if it had drumming throughout the whole thing, where there was more of a structure to it, because the first half is Cliff just going crazy on it in terms of just bass soloing and just kind of coming up with some really cool patterns and everything in cool sections. But then once the actual drumming kicks in, that's where there's more of a structure in a sense to it, not necessarily really a structure in terms of a song wise, but it's a fantastic song and I love it to death. Whiplash. Now, I was debating on this because it's really A or S, and honestly, I might move it. I think A is fine. I think A is decent because Whiplash is basically Metallica's march, if you will. You know, because we're Metallica, and we'll never stop. Like, I love that part, and honestly, I think Whiplash is a great track to introduce people to in terms of like if they've never heard Metallica before. I think Whiplash and Hit the Lights are good first songs to introduce people to Metallica if they're like, what is Metallica? Like, obviously you can go understand it, you can go like way later in discography, but if you're talking like early thrash, like their earlier work, I think Whiplash and Hit the Lights are two decent tracks to kind of introduce them to. Phantom Lord, next up. Personally, I'm feeling B. I might move it to A, but I'm feeling B on Phantom Lord. It's possibly an A. It's kind of on that fence because to me, Phantom Lord, it's a decent track. I love the clean section in the middle, which was basically a kind of hint, if you will, towards where they were going to head in terms of Ride the Lightning, in terms of, more of a slower melodic section they were going to come up with, in terms of course, Fade to Black and all that. But to me, I don't really listen to Phantom Lord that much. It was a song that I think is decent off of the record. It's pretty solid, but I don't always go back to listen to it. But then again, a lot of these songs from Metallica's discography, there's times where I'll listen to it quite a bit and then I kind of step away for a moment and then I come back to it later. But to me, I think Phantom Lord is just kind of in that kind of on the borderline area where it's B or A. Like, it's a solid track. It's pretty decent at times, but I'm not like loving it. No Remorse. The more and more I thought about it, No Remorse is great. Like, I love the fact that there's a lot of variety in this song in terms of riffs and the switches and like the transitions into different parts. It's really well put together, and it kind of shows more of like an idea of where they're going to be heading in terms of like where they're going to get more and more complex with their actual writing in terms of how they're structuring songs. No Remorse is one of those songs that shows that there is more to them, because Whiplash, it's funny enough, like Whiplash has some really cool sections, like sections of like riffs and stuff, but it's more on the simpler side in terms of like it's not a lot happening. But No Remorse has a lot of variety of different riffs going on and a lot more just going on in the song. So it's kind of cool to see the balancing act of this album where it has more of the simpler side of tracks, and then you have songs like No Remorse where it's really picking up and there's a lot going on in them. Seek and Destroy, it's an S tier, no question. I think Seek and Destroy is a song that will stand the test of time because it is iconic in many different ways. And I think with Hit the Lights, of course, opening the album, I think Seek and Destroy could have been a closer if it wasn't for Metal Militia. But to me, Seek and Destroy is the song that people will identify Metallica in terms of like, this is who they were when they first were starting out, and this is, their kind of anthem, if you will. Obviously, everyone knows Enter Sandman, everyone knows Master Puppets. But back then, these are the only songs people really had, and Seek and Destroy, I think, was one that really stood out for a lot of people. Hit the Lights, of course, was their first actual official release in terms of before this album actually dropped. But Seek and Destroy, I think, will always be remembered as that one song that really defined the band. And it'll never lose its touch, I don't think, in terms of the importance for Metallica. And it's a really damn good song. Metal Militia, gonna surprise some people. I think it's an S tier. I do. I think Metal Militia is one of those songs that surprised me because I remember hearing this album for the first time, really digging a lot of the tracks. Obviously, Action Seekers, there's no song that's in the C or below tier. I was really enjoying the album and how it was being put together and how it was just going along and how it was all just piecing together. But then you get to Metal Militia. I wasn't sure what to expect because when Seek and Destroy happened, I think I'd already heard that song at the time before I listened to the entire record and was discovering some of the more deeper tracks, like Motor Breath, Jump in the Fire, and all that, and No Remorse. Like, because I think before I heard the album, I had heard Hit the Lights, I heard Seek and Destroy, and Anesthesia Pulling Teeth, and I think of the Four Horsemen as well. So like I was discovering some of these other tracks. Once Seek and Destroy hit, I'm like, okay, this is good. And I'm like, but what's Metal Militia? Like, what? Like, didn't know how it was going to conclude. And it's a great closer. It really is. It freaking hits hard. And just that main riff, how James is able to perform that riff and play it play it live and sing at the same time, I have no idea. No question. But it shows the the power and the skill it takes back then, and they were able to pull this kind of stuff off. And so it's no question they're able to pull off even more intricate riffs while singing live, like James can do with these riffs. It's really insane. So let's go through here and just make sure I'm fine with this, and then we'll call it a day here on the video. And I'm curious to know how you guys would rank all the songs as well from the album, and where you would how you would tier list and rank them all here. So Hit the Lights, Seek and Destroy, Metal Militia, S tier. A tier, The Four Horsemen, Jump in the Fire, Anesthesia, Pulling Teeth, Whiplash, I said Metallica, Whiplash, we know it's Metallica, No Remorse. In B, Motor Breath, Phantom Lord. I think that's fine. Like I said, I could move Phantom Lord up to A, but I think I'll stick with this. But to me, at the end of the day, Kill 'Em All is a great start to the band's discography, and it's got a good variety of tracks. I'm really curious to dive into further on record terms of, like, of course, Ride the Lightning, Master Puppets, especially when we get to actually further on to actually Load and Reload, because that's really what's going to be interesting to see the huge variation in terms of songs that are like in the S tier slot for those two records, Load and Reload, and then the songs that are like in the C or D, because there's a huge more discrepancy in terms of those albums. But I'm fine with this as where that's at. But I'm curious to know what you guys think of my list, and how would you rank all the Metallica Kill 'Em All songs, and how you would rank them. Would it be similar to my list? Would some songs be moved up or down compared to mine for yours? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, what you guys think about it. And are you guys excited for this series to continue? The plan, like I said, is every single Monday be putting out a video like this. We'll be ranking all the songs, course, in the Metallica album, and then just going along in the discography and going down the whole line. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and yeah, talk to you guys soon. Peace out.